Yo, what it do, everybody? This is your boy JP, aka the Black Gandhi, bringing you another video today. And I was supposed to make this video yesterday, but I didn't have time, so I'm making it today. Anyway, woo! If y'all have been following my channel for a while, coming into this regular season, I was not excited about it. Kevin Durant going to Golden State. I just felt that sucked the entire air out of the regular season, but boy, was I wrong. And I think a lot of people were wrong. This regular season was a lot more entertaining than a lot of people thought they were. There was a bunch of surprises. There was a lot of disappointments as well. Some with the top seeds in in the NBA. Some with teams that we felt were going to be good, but ended up being really bad. But the biggest surprise to me, no question, was my Boston Celtics coming up with the number one seed in the end. And they are now the number one seed in the Eastern Conference and will have home court advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. I don't care what nobody has to say. Nobody predicted that. Nobody predicted that we were going to be the number one seed. And I am so proud of my Boston Celtics. Al Horford dealing with his injuries this year. Avery Bradley missing a whole bunch of time this year with injury. Isaiah Thomas, having the battle critics saying that he couldn't live up to the season that he had last year. He had an even better year, led the league in fourth quarter scoring, and for a while was about to average 30 in this league. Ended up finishing averaging just under 29 points a game this year, leading the Boston Celtics to the number one seed. I'm so proud of my team, and I'm so proud of Danny Ainge as well at the trade deadline. He could have bit on the trade to bring Jimmy Butler into Boston or bringing in Paul George to Boston, but with the reports of Paul George saying that the only teams he would commit to long term were the Pacers or the Lakers, and with the Bulls wanting the whole house and farm, they wanted both of our Brooklyn picks. They wanted three of these four players, which were all of our perimeter defenders, and Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown. Wanted three of those four players on top of both of our Brooklyn picks just to get Jimmy Butler. I'm sorry, y'all may disagree with me, but I don't really care. Jimmy Butler is not, I repeat, he is not a superstar player. And he is not worth giving up pieces like going ahead and grabbing the Kevin Garnett or going ahead and grabbing, say, I'm trying to think of another big time trade flip. I can't think of one where a team just pretty much gave up everything. Or like what Houston was going to get was Scottie Pippen and things like that. So Jimmy Butler, I'm sorry, he's a star player. He's not a superstar player. We've seen now the last 2 years that freaking he's been the star player. What's going on? He missed the playoffs last year, and they went 500 this year just to barely make the playoffs. And it took the last game of the regular season in order for them to clinch a spot in the playoffs. And I gotta admit, even though the Bulls as a team scare me, just because we did split against them this year in the regular season. It's not because of Jimmy Butler, that's for sure. To be honest, we should have won. We should have won the season series 3-1 because of that ticky tack foul in the last game on Jimmy Butler on Marcus Smart. We should have won that game. That was a ticky tack foul. But hey, that's a soft ass era that we're playing in now. So I mean, you breathe on the guy wrong and you get a foul call. So anyway, I'm just like I said, I'm just so proud of my team and I'm so proud of Danny Ainge for not pulling the trigger on any trade that he felt didn't help us in the end because I don't care what nobody say. Adding Jimmy Butler or Paul George this year was not going to help us beat the Cavaliers any more than us just staying with what we had. Giving up both of our Brooklyn picks and giving up three of our four perimeter defenders for Jimmy Butler. Sorry, that ain't happening. Us giving up Paul George for a rental for a year or two, and then he's just going to go ahead and go to LA? No, I don't think so. You make trades if they help benefit you now and in the long run, not just freaking getting a superstar caliber player who's a star player and having them for a year or two, or freaking having to give up the farm just to get them. I'm sorry, I'm not biting the bullet on that. I'm not pulling the trigger on that. Sorry. No disrespect to Paul George and Jimmy Butler. Good players, maybe even great players, but they're not superstars. They're not players that you could build your franchise around. We have a guy like that. We have Isaiah Thomas. He works because of the team that he has. Period. Point blank. End of story. You can't add Jimmy Butler, who needs the ball in his hands in order to be effective. You can't add Paul George, who's not going to commit to you long term when he's already said that he's going to be going to the Lakers and wants to play in LA. Sorry, can't do that. And if y'all have been following me on any of my social medias and things like that, or have been a part of my YouTube channel for long, you know I've asked several times over the years, starting back in 2009, for Danny Ainge's job. I wanted him fired out for a long time. I wanted him. I wanted the first moment that he made a mistake that I didn't agree with was when he went and signed Stephon Marbury. I wanted his job after he pulled the trigger on that one. I definitely wanted him gone when he traded Kendrick Perkins away back in 2011 when we had Kendrick Perkins, Shaq, and Jermaine O'Neal on the roster, and he wanted to commit to Shaq as being our big man. Where Shaq was struggling with injuries all year. Jermaine O'Neal hadn't even played a game for us yet at that point, and Kendrick Perkins was just coming back from injury and playing well. But you give up Kendrick Perkins in a trade that did not work for us at all, and us getting Jeff Green, who we could have signed outright the following offseason anyway. And then, of course, we all know Jeff Green obviously had to go through open heart surgery and everything like that, so he ended up losing a year of his career to recover from that. And then we ended up bringing him back. So we would have got Jeff Green anyway. We didn't even need to give up Kendrick Perkins or Nate Robinson to do, who we ended up trading both of those guys. Um, but the thing that just swayed me from completely from Danny Ainge was the what ended up being a great trade now because of where we are now. But at the time, because Kevin Garnett's my favorite player of all time, and when he got traded to Boston, I cried. Like I won't lie to you, I cried my eyes out, and I cried even more where originally we were going to be able to do the deal because KG wasn't willing to waive his no trade clause at the time. But after we traded him for Ray Allen on draft night, then we were able to get KG, and that was it. That was a wrap. My favorite player of all time on my favorite team, game over. Like that was amazing. That was an amazing feeling at the time. We were able to win the championship that season. Unfortunately, injuries derailed that potential dynasty and everything like that. But I digress. But seeing KG get traded away, along with the truth, Paul Pierce, to Brooklyn, and we got like a whole bunch of scrap players in return, where the biggest one was probably Gerald Wallace, who didn't do a damn thing for us except cost us $10 million a year for a couple years to do absolutely nothing. I mean, I guess I can't say nothing because we did end up getting Marcus Smart out of the deal, but that's besides the point. Anyway, when that trade originally happened, because I wasn't focusing on the Brooklyn picks because I felt that KG and Paul could still play. They just weren't going to be the vocal points anymore. Going to a team like Brooklyn, who had Darren Williams, who had Brook Lopez, who had Joe Johnson, I felt that Brooklyn was going to be a good team for a few more years to come, and those picks were going to be high teens, maybe mid-20s. So wasn't really going to help us. But then obviously the experiment in Brooklyn fell apart. Those draft picks ended up becoming great, and now teams are coveted for these picks, and everybody is like, "Why aren't Boston moving these picks to get players?" And it's like, Danny Ainge knows what he's doing. Like I said before, at that time, I didn't think he knew what he was doing, but now I definitely think I'm in Danny Ainge and in Brad Stevens I trust, because Brad Stevens has improved this team every single season to the point where he went from almost dead last in the NBA to being the number one team. Sorry about that. So basically, I just wanted to make this video congratulating the Celtics on an amazing season. Good luck in the playoffs. We cannot get bounced out in the first round. Please don't get bounced out in the first round. If we get bounced out in the first round, fail season. But um, like I said, I'm so proud of my team. So proud of Danny Ainge. So proud of Brad Stevens for improving this team every year. Man, I'm excited for the future. Um, Seeing what they might do with this pick. Seeing what they could potentially add in free agency because they have a lot of cap. See, the future's bright for this team, and I'm so glad that we decided to keep going forward what we had. So, just wanted to make this quick video just to congratulate my Celtics. So, if y'all enjoyed this video, leave it a thumbs up. If you did, leave a thumbs down. And anyway, like I was saying, you can follow my social medias. My Twitter will be in the description box below. You can migrate to get to my other social medias in that way. But yeah, have a great day, everybody. Continue to stay blessed. This is your boy JP, aka the Black Gandhi, signing out. Peace out.